Welcome to Live and Learn, everybody. The only show where Pisco shows up on time every week, and we have 4 consistent members. How's it going, everybody?
Good, man. How did that debate with Dylan Burns go? Was it spicy?
Ooh. No, it was not super spicy. It was actually very, very tame. Not nearly as spicy as me hopping on the panel afterwards. So no, that was fine.
What panel did you hop on?
Your panel after you left. We talked about that last week.
Oh yeah, that did get a little. So you went hard on Tally. Holy fuck. Yeah.
Now we're gonna open both 2 episodes in a row. We opened with that.
Did we talk?
What do you have against Jews? Are we live?
Whoa.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, we went live already. We were waiting for you.
Oh my god.
It's been a little. I feel like it's been an open secret that Soy Pill is a virulent anti-Semite.
You didn't say anything. I said, give me 2 minutes. Oh, wait. So we're live. We're definitely. Oh, I see the chat. Okay. 100%. All right. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Live and Learn, the only show where we start on time every single time, apparently, for the first time this week.
Yes. Lot to cover. At first, I thought it was kind of a slow week. And then I realized there's like 10 pretty big stories. Where do we even begin today, boys? Why don't you pick it, Guy? I feel like you're a little quiet.
Ooh. Well, did we talk about Plattner and his big victory and all the stuff that's come after that?
It was so we had the
huge
pod last week on the same night of the primary, but he hit, I think, some benchmarks that people were putting out there was like anything above 70% is respectable. So, and I think he ultimately hit around 73 or 74. So,
There was a poll that came out by the University of New Hampshire at the end of May, which was after Janet Mills dropped out, but before the controversies, the sexting and the being rough with the ex-girlfriend. And he was around 76%. So him coming in at 73 or 72% of the vote showed that he hadn't lost any support from those controversies.
Wow. Pretty consistent with where the Dem electorate is at.
Yeah.
They like problematic figures.
Yeah,
they're
the
pissed.
turnout was a big story. We didn't have that on Tuesday, but turnout was the biggest we've seen for a Democratic candidate in Maine's history since 1918 when they started voting by popular vote.
Yeah.
And more than the Republicans voting for governor, which was their competitive race combined. Plus independents chose to vote in the Democratic primary 3-1 over the Republican primary. And I don't think people are doing that to spoil necessarily. Maybe a handful of people like, I want to get Graham Plattner in there so Susan Collins has easier path to victory. But I think that's a small handful of people. I think most people who do that are genuinely interested in the candidate they're voting for.
The time is now.
Man. He's the guy.
Yeah.
I donated 50 through ActBlue.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And did you see Mike from PA responded to that? Apparently you owe him some kind of debt. And he was like, I'll credit this against your standing debt. So tell us about this, Hutch. You gambling with Mike from PA?
Bro, that guy is like, I think he's older than me. Lying for internet clout is just the most pathetic thing. He's been lying about this fucking bet for years. Like, he knows that he's lying too, obviously. But why are you sidetracking it with that? There was no bet.
It's content.
Whoa, why are you dodging, Hutch? Why are you
dodging? Yes or no?
We never settled on terms. Like, he reached out to me. We were going to do some bets. I proposed terms. He rejected the terms. And then we just...
There was no offer and acceptance. That's just basic contract law. There's an offer, there's an acceptance. And the counter offer is not an acceptance. That's just well established. So, I mean, clearly this guy... Oh, wait, I'm not going to comment on that, but I will just say, Hutch, I stand by you.
And no more drama for you.
And I will stand by also your other tweet where you were like, throw everyone under the bus if need be to get elected. Just get elected. You said something like that, right? That was pretty based as well.
I mean, listen, there's limits to this because I don't see the utility in fully throwing the party under the bus if you're in a safe blue seat. But if you're running in Alaska, Ohio, Texas, North Carolina, Iowa, Maine, then you can tactically, pick your spots to throw the Democratic Party under the bus. Yeah, I fully co-sign.
And Joe Biden.
Yeah.
The greatest president of our lifetime.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
100%.
arguably, that's like maybe one of the things Kamala failed to do, right? Where like people were really hung up on the fact that she said, I'm not going to make a meaningful difference. And it's like, well, if they're upset with Biden and you're not going to make a meaningful difference, then you're like Biden, right? And if you
Yep.
have to say, hey, I'm the change candidate, do it. Why not? That's going to work.
Did you trip at what happens in Montana, Guy? I don't know if you've been keeping an eye on that. I don't really know about it, but like they were trying to do a little independent play like they were doing in Nebraska and Montana, but now the Democratic nominee is kind of like wanted to stick in the race. Did you see that?
I haven't read about that, but I do know they were trying to do something with an independent candidate. Yeah.
That seems like a strategy that it kind of signals a lot of weakness with the brand, but it's one that I think is pretty base if Democrats keep their, if they're able to actually manage it well. The horrible situation would be like if this is the reality as I described it, and again, this is just through osmosis or whatever, and you don't get the Democrat to drop out, right? Because you need the Democratic to be nominated to like push out bad faith actors from the Republicans, and then they have to actually drop out. That's the drawback that I see.
Well, we're talking about a very red state here where we have, I would argue, a small chance. John Tester was something unique, kind of like Joe Manchin in West Virginia. So I, if anything can happen there, great, but I'm not counting on much. But did you guys see John Fetterman was talking mad shit on Graham Plattner? He said he's a dirtbag.
Yeah, he's not part of the team anymore. He's not in the coalition.
Well, I think it actually helps Graham Plattner because if John Fetterman thinks he's a dirtbag, it probably is helping him. But John Fetterman, that same interview, said we've got rock stars like Mary Patola, Tallarico, Sherrod Brown. So I'm wondering, is John Fetterman back? What do you guys think?
To be fair to Fetterman, Plattner's been talking shit about Fetterman for the entire campaign, it seems.
Good.
So, I mean, I don't like him or anything, but it's not like Fetterman was firing the first rounds here.
Well, but I think it actually helps Graham Plattner because that drama and that beef gets talked about more than his position on trans people. Like instead of being asked questions about men and women's sports and not having a great answer, he gets to talk about John Fetterman and he gets to talk about his scandal. So I actually think it's working in his favor.
I generally am great with people who take those kinds of shots at John Fetterman in general. When Plattner does it, though, there's a kind of like chip on the shoulder that I'm sensing a little bit where it kind of seems like he is conscious of this argument that's being put forward that he's the next Fetterman, and he very much wants to sort of distance himself from that. And it might be a good way to pivot to, speaking of distance, AOC keeping her cards close to her chest as well, and not, being a little bit more choosy about who to endorse. What do you guys think of that?
It's kind of surprising she hasn't pulled the trigger for El Sayed yet. That's kind of surprising to me.
Yeah, I'm wondering what is the strategic calculus here? Is it to try to appear to be more moderate? Is it to try to like make her nomination have some oomph to it so that she really is picking winners and people who are like 100% aligned with her? I don't agree with her doing this. I think that she should endorse Plattner. I think that she should endorse the candidate that she thinks is the best qualified. So I think this is like bad to do, but maybe it's savvy. I don't know.
Well, it started with that Shoykot guy in Pelosi's district. He was her chief of staff for a short period of time when she first got to Congress, and she didn't endorse him, which I thought was interesting.
Well,
but yeah, you're right.
Guy, I think apparently they didn't end on good terms, and there's like rumors of like why he left and whether or not there was some sort of like scandal or debacle or disagreement there. So I don't know if that was just because of his politics and like her being savvy, or it was genuine like I don't like this guy and I don't want to endorse him. So there was a little more to that too. But I wonder if that was the same strategy where she's like, hey, I don't even know if you're going to win, so I don't want to, like Pisco said, look like I'm picking losing candidates, especially if I run for president in 2028.
I don't know. I think she's savvy. I think she's smart. I think she understands the value of her endorsement, and I kind of like that she's picky with it.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know. It's a great question. Why is AOC not promoting the most progressive people in these races, or even the nominee? Graham Plattner is the nominee. I mean, why not endorse him?
There was an endorsement recently that she made for the more kind of establishment candidate. I don't even know the race, but I was reading about it.
Yeah, this was in Texas, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Arizona. This is when she because there was we talked about this. The candidate that was not as establishment was also almost kind of like a Republican plant that was like pushing all of this anti-Semitic language, right? And she strategically picked the non-crazy one to show like we are not. This is not part of our party.
Oh,
yeah, I remember that. Like that woman was insane.
Lindo.
She's like, put them in concentration camps if you're a Zionist.
No.
Yeah, she said repurposed
totally
ICE. Yeah,
that's different. That lady was crazy though, and AOC was doing the right thing there. But yeah, it is 100%. Interesting. She's withholding her endorsement. She's getting some love. I saw some video that she did with More Perfect Union, that organization, where she went out and talked to people about data centers. And I think data centers is the new boogeyman that Democrats need to take the lead on, because everyone hates these things, and why not become the champion of hating on data centers?
That was a good video.
I just don't like the impulse on data centers. Like, I don't know enough about the issue to comment on it because I don't know what the effects are of data centers. I'm generally very skeptical of the tech people now, given things that have occurred and their capture of agencies, and they're trying to, create monopolies and stuff like that. So generally I'm skeptical, but there is a kind of like reflexive NIMBYism that I feel in the like, oh, get the fucking data center out of my backyard. I'm just like, well, I don't like those kinds of arguments where it's like, but it's here next to us. Now, if there's some environmental concerns, if there are concerns related to, use of public funds or rebates or tax shit, like fine, I'm open to that stuff. I don't want to be reflexively NIMBY about data centers if we fucking need them,
Yeah, in the video, or I know she was giving a speech somewhere where she held up like a jar of like water from someone's faucet, and there was like a bunch of dirt in it, and that might be the byproduct of construction that might be contaminating the water supply, but like data centers you don't process data by putting dirt in water. That's not what's happening, like that's so ridiculous. Yeah. So I'm curious how much of this is like weird brain rotty, just like there's a lot of AI crap right now, and a lot of it does suck. But the idea that like, oh, these data centers are just going to destroy everything, and like, oh, they heat up the Utah Valley by like 50 degrees, and you're like, well, this is just like not true. It's the same with the kind of boogeyman of like, they're going to use up all the water. They're going to need water in the same way that like, a factory needs water. It's not like that much more. I like remember looking at like the quantified numbers of this, and so like a lot of it's boogeyman stuff, but I think you're combining this with like, okay, what's my timeline now? Oh, 80% AI slop, and that's what you're building this for? And
no, sorry, but you don't understand. I need to have an Ask Rock which among these different politicians is the biggest loser, and for them to like delete the biggest loser or whatever. But no, I understand, and I share the skepticism and aversion to a lot of the AI stuff, and just my sensibilities in terms of these tech people. And so I'm right here. I'm ready to be skeptical of data centers. I'm ready for it. I don't want to not give the issue its due and like really consider the and some of you guys in the audience, you probably know more. And if you do, put it in the chat.
Yeah, I think Guy's right though. It's kind of a no-brainer. Just the revolt against the data centers is pretty wild. Like you can see video footage of town halls all over the country where the local population is just full on revolting against what's happening here. So I think it would be kind of silly if they ignored that issue. I don't know about the impact on the water. My understanding is that it's overstated, but I'm not qualified enough to opine on that. But the
I wouldn't put it past them to poison the water just as some kind of ploy. I've seen Chinatown.
But the impact on energy prices is definitely not overstated. That's real. Yeah. I think energy bills are going up between like 10 and 15% where they, in the locations where they're in close proximation to a data center. So that's just a recipe for even more populism. Like if these data centers come in and the local residents are forced to pay 10 or 15% more on their energy bill.
And explain why that is a bad thing, Hutch. I haven't watched the latest Ryan Getty video, but it seems to be something to do with populism. So have you synthesized your anti-populist message yet? Have you watched that video?
I did watch the video, and I've watched previous videos where he's talked about populism. I like him a lot. I like his videos a lot when, I don't agree with him on everything, but he definitely makes me think about things. I appreciate that about him. I don't know if we want to sidetrack the conversation in
no, we don't have to.
About a meta conversation about populism.
Well, I think that there is palpable rage at these data centers because people don't see the benefits. Yes, bringing some jobs and helping their local economy, but like you guys said, they don't. I don't think AI has improved our lives dramatically yet and led to an innovation that people can appreciate what's happening here. But Democrats shouldn't miss this opportunity, in my opinion, because I think we can extract some of the wealth and the the resources from these AI companies and these data centers by demanding that they do more. And they're all about speed. That's why these data centers are going up so quickly, because everybody's racing to be the big dog and have the most power and the most resources. But if the community is upset, that's going to slow things down. So it's in their interest, these AI companies, to work with the local community. So, and that's why I want to see the Democrats take the lead. Like, we will be the conduit for you to reach the community, and we will speak on behalf of the people, but we'll work with you and provide solutions so that they can give the community more. I just see it as a great opportunity with everybody focused on these data centers.
Yeah, if you're going to dump this much money into like Nvidia and all these other companies, like that is propping up the economy in some ways, make that money work for the people. If you're going to make our energy prices, I've seen it go high. Hutch, you said 10, 15. I've seen places it's like 200% because the demand has increased that much. That's insane. It's like, all right, well, you better be giving this back in like tax breaks or something because you have billions and billions, if not trillions, to invest. Like, you better be helping the people you're fucking over if you want to, race to make this. That's going to be a cost.
Well, Trump's policies have contributed to the rising energy costs as well. It's not all just data center stuff.
True.
So, yeah.
What are you talking about, Hutch? The war is over.
Good transition.
Didn't he cancel like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of contracts that the government had already paid as a part of some of like Biden's projects? Or am I remembering that wrong?
I'm sure he did that. I mean, he let food go to waste for no reason on like boats and stuff because even though like the contracts are already fulfilled or whatever for USAID, so I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know what you're referencing.
I've read articles that say the bills going up is not necessarily the data centers. It is the utility companies having to upgrade their infrastructure due to climate change and just meeting the needs of the people. But we shouldn't tell people how to feel or what to blame. We should work with how the people are feeling and what they're focused on. And if they're mad at these data centers and think they're responsible for their energy bills, then we should lean into that.
I think people are freaked out because they see this seemingly inevitable, like massive disruption, and they don't see the government proactively doing anything about it, which is a little kind of, freaks people out, understandably.
And Trump is gung-ho on them. He's not going to slow them down in any way. So
not Anthropic. He is going to slow Anthropic down.
Yes. Talk about that.
So Anthropic had this, the newest model for them was internally called Mythos, and it was allegedly.
Sorry.
I think Fable is Mythos rebranded, but Mythos was. So this was a story that happened a few months ago where it was so good that they purposefully stuttered the rollout of the new model because there were concerns that just regular people would use it to like hack fucking iCloud and stuff like that. It was reportedly such a impressive model that like it was something like 40 to 50 major corporations all signed an agreement that they would work with the government to make sure that they didn't release dangerous models into the public. Well, they released Fable, which was like a trimmed down version of Mythos, just with a lot of guardrails. And apparently the reporting suggests that the Trump administration asked them to take it off the market, like remove access to that model, not because there was some broken version of it, but because the people at Anthropic, quote, like, don't speak Trump. So they didn't like sufficiently
bribe.
Yeah, they didn't give him a golden Anthropic statue to thank him for his wonderful contributions to the AI world.
Well, they should have named the model Trump AI or something.
I'm sure the administration doesn't like them much because the Department of Defense tried to get some kind of a contract with Anthropic to include their systems in whatever military stuff. And Anthropic publicly, rejected the terms of the contract and said, we didn't get strong enough assurances that they're not going to use this technology for automated weapon system, fully automated weapon systems, and mass surveillance.
Surveillance, yeah.
Right, yeah.
They're like,
And
we only want you to use this for like Franklin memes. We don't want you to actually like, infringe on people's rights.
yeah. But anyways, yeah.
I've heard some praise for Trump for an executive order, I believe he signed, that requires these AI companies to give the government their tool for 30 days before they release it or something like that. Am I getting that right? Have any of you guys heard about this?
I don't know. I didn't hear about this. No. When did that happen?
Maybe it's something he proposed and hasn't signed, but we desperately need to regulate AI, and our government is failing us miserably. This is an example of when government's not working, we are all being let down, and we could suffer some serious consequences because of that.
I think it'll be probably like a top 3 issue by the time we get to 2028. It's just, it's building and building and building. And the animosity and the rage out there and the anger that people have for these systems is very palpable.
I'm curious. Second Gilded Age. It really is. And the same kind of collective action problems and accumulations of wealth and capture of the instruments of the state, that's all occurring now out in the open.
Hutch, I'm curious because you said like maybe this is like based on what you've read, they didn't play ball with Trump, especially with the military stuff. And this is also happening right before their IPO, which is like, hey, like your awesome product that is going to, increase the value of said IPO. Nope, that's gone right before it happens. Maybe I don't know if they're going to delay it or if this is going to cause them to like maybe not even go public. But to me, this kind of is sounding like what Trump was doing with these different media companies to be like, hey, play ball, or we're not going to give you your merger, like leveraging the government power to the regulatory bodies and say like, no, you can't have what you want unless you are subservient to us, which is really scary. But I'm not sure how much of that you smelled specifically with this case.
I don't know enough about it, but I mean, Jason from All In a conversation with Tim Miller last week just came out and said that the capitalists love oligarchies. And, he was like trying to explain to Tim Miller, he's like, no, you don't get it. Even though he fucked the economy, they can basically bribe their way into his inner circle. And so they really like him and they don't regret their vote. It was a pretty remarkable interview. If you guys find some time to watch it this week, it's pretty.
Yeah, why would they regret it? I mean, really, honestly, there are some people who are winners and some people who are losers. The losers were everyone who bought this whole story about Trump being a dove, the people who thought that he was going to lower prices, the people who thought that, like, I don't know, Tulsi Gabbard was going to usher in a new era of transparency or whatever, and actually like effectuate some anti-corruption efforts as opposed to being corrupt herself. So those are all the losers, but the winners are the people whose cases are getting dropped, whose murders are being approved, who are getting a seat at the table, who are, on these fancy trips to these different events and are part of the ballroom graft that's going on, as well as the 10 other grafts that are happening. So I have every reason to think that they're laughing all the way to the bank. You think that Zuckerberg regrets what he did? No, none of these people. They're soulless demons, Hutch.
Oh yeah, they're having the time of their lives. Speaking of people benefiting, like the UFC getting to host their event last night at the White House. I've been fighting with my chat over this, so I'm very curious to hear what you guys say. I thought it was kind of a cool event. I know it's not blue sky approved to say that, but I thought Democrats could learn a little bit from this. Now, obviously, I disagree with the promotion of the brands and the crypto and the way they went about it. But in the end, a lot of people like UFC, and I know there's polls that show people did not like the event or whatever. But we kind of look like prudes when we're just screaming about every single thing that Trump does like that, and including there were like dirt bikers jumping and doing stunts, and people were like, this is disgusting and disgraceful and ridiculous. It's like, I mean, it's people having fun and they're talented, like good fighters. So I don't know. I'm curious what you guys thought about it.
I'll let Soypill go first.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like brain rotty to me. It's like having like a fucking hootenanny at the White House, and like it's not like trashy insofar as I'm like, oh, how dare you? Oh, you've ruined the sanctity of the White House. Like that hasn't already been done by the president. But it was just cringe to me. It's just like the fact that people are like, oh, it's like an idiocracy. They have the monster truck derby. I compared it to that. I'm like, yeah, is this really like, why are we doing this? Like, what are we celebrating here? And like, why are we doing dirt bike jumps and jet flyovers and UFC fights? And we'll get into Peace Squad. I think you want to talk about one of the fighters' comments after his win. But it's just like it just makes me like so ashamed that like all the shit we're doing and like this is how we're celebrating it with this like fucking trashy. By the way, UFC specifically, like if it had been like, hey, we have like a tennis expose or like a performance by these people. UFC, I don't know if you guys watch UFC, but UFC is filled with like the most racist, degenerate, fuckhead audience I have ever seen in my life. If you go to the comment section or the like stream, like it is so fucking evil, like the way that like the audience for this specific sport is. And so like there's a reason UFC is always aligned with crypto. There's a reason UFC has always got these like, oh, like it's the Brazilian guy versus the Russian guy, and then you'll just see like the slurs you've never even heard of appearing in like the chat because it's like this weird nationalistic and racist pride for fighting the enemy. I don't know. I don't like it, but it didn't like ruin anything. It's just I was just like, are we really doing this? Like, come on.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's the perceived corruption that gets to me, like he's got this close relationship with Dana White, and it's just like another reflection of just how corrupt this administration is. So that's why it doesn't sit right with me.
All right, I'll do my throat clear and caveats. Start off with, first of all, I can't help but like Derek Lewis a little bit. He really won me over. Some of his knockouts, and when he's in my balls is hot. I don't know. I've always kind of liked Derek Lewis. Now he got knocked out, and some of the fights were objectively good fights. All right, that's all being fair and balanced. But fuck the UFC and fuck Dana White and fuck all those people. Number one, I think that these are some of the worst people that exist. Certainly some of the most showboatedly corrupt individuals who are attracted to this sport. And this is someone who actually kind of likes the sport sometimes. I'm just gonna be honest with you sometimes. But I just like hate all of the culture behind it, the culture of the fighters. Even this whole thing with DC, Daniel Cormier, he allegedly messaged or was messaged by Donald Trump. Oh no, this is not Donald Trump Jr. It's
he claims he was hacked, by the way.
He claims he was hacked. Yeah. What's his other son's name? Eric, right? Eric. Holy crap!
That's so
He's
funny.
so forgettable.
Hey, don't worry.
That wasn't a bit.
Donald doesn't even know that one either.
I promise that wasn't a bit. So, now, even though Eric Trump says that this is all fake or he was hacked or whatever, and query whether you believe him or not, it doesn't put him.
Pisco, he's saying he was hacked now because when it first happened, he said that's AI, that's not me. So
yeah,
now
I'm just like, even if he was, no, he probably this is all probably real. He's probably corrupt as fuck. Okay. And he's probably stupid enough as well to be like, can I just ask you about fixing fights? This is all like corrupt, whatever. So I don't put it past him at all. It just rings as something that is the kind of shit that these people engage in and the way they talk. There's something about that. And then on the real issues, that's all just the kind of like aesthetics of it. I hate the aesthetics of it. I hate these people. Fuck them all. And they're all like basically 90% Trump dick riders. And so fuck them for that too. Now the real reason to be pissed. Why should we spend even $1 of public money, public attention, security details on any of this shit to have this celebrated birthday for this like non even a president guy and to have the fight on the White House lawn? There exist arenas in other places. We can just bring Trump to those places. Why do this extravagance in front of the White House like this? It just doesn't, to me, doesn't justify when Americans are like suffering and Trump is more worried about doing the UFC fight for his birthday and putting his name on the Kennedy Center and like covering it up when it's being taken down, putting his name on a bunch of stuff. Like there is just this feeling of deep graft, of misplaced resources, and ultimately like a declining society. This feels like Rome shit. Like we're opening up the Colosseum and we have like Caligula or these emperors just like, this is like fucked up shit. And so I can't look at that and ignore and be like, wow, why don't Democrats do it? It feels like I'm taking crazy pills and we live in a broken state. I don't know. That's just me.
Pisco, have you considered that? Like, have you ever had like a really old dog and you can't take it to the beach because it'll like its legs will break? Like Donald Trump
had a beta
maybe
fish named
couldn't make
Albert.
it to the Coliseum. They needed to put it in the backyard because it was too far for him to walk.
Well, okay.
Yeah, this is why we need a UFC cage match fight. This is why we need to have all UFC fights next to the White House. That's why we need a ballroom, and this is why we probably need a stadium right next to the White House too.
Again, I do not think the way Trump did it was good, but there's a showmanship to it that I think the Democrats are going to need to bring if they're going to keep people's attention and stay in power. I'm not saying they have to do what Trump did, but UFC, from what I understand, is the third most popular sport ahead of hockey in America. So there's some fans out there, and they may have disagreed with what they saw, but you had the White House in the background. It looked beautiful. I'm sorry. I just got to say, it looked cool. And you had the fighter jets over, and you had the eagle flying around. And so, a lot of people, they love this gratuitous patriotism. And we on the left, we are known as America haters because the right says we are all the time. And then they do the exact opposite, where they lay it on thick with the patriotism. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to embrace some of that.
I agree with you on that. And this is what I loved, where I thought the Democrats did a good job on that. And that's at a different set of sporting events. The Knicks playoff games. I forget what fucking Abbott called them. He was like the championship series instead of just calling them the finals, right? NBA finals. It was pretty crazy. People called him out for that. But Democrats, to the World Cup and to the NBA games, they were actually being part of it, right? Like Mamdani and other New York politicians, Hochul at one of the World Cup games that was hosted, I think, at MetLife. And that felt like organic to me. That felt like more of what we need, where they're really like showing that they're a part of this culture, and where it's not aggrandizing them, right? Where they're part of a movement, and we all feel like this final series by the Knicks was really special. And that's coming from someone who loves New York, but I am a New England sports fan. But I know that if I were to give my New England sports fandom, it would be New York, because holy crap, the electrifying feeling of that moment and this entire series and like the whole city was just really awesome. And to watch so many politicians embrace it, I thought was special. I agree on that aspect of the sports, and on the patriotism, I totally agree, Ira. I think that's like, Democrats need to embrace love of country.
My listening library on YouTube gave $5 and said, as a MMA fan and a Dem, the event was amazing and fights were great. Shouldn't be tied to government, president, but pro-US is not bad.
Yeah, I agree with that. The fights were awesome fights. I mean, like they just were spectacular knockouts. I think like most of them were, at least for the main card, were knockouts. You had Cyril Gahn knock out the Brazilian guy. I forget his name. But yeah, no, they were some really good fights.
I think I agree with this, Pisco, but like your key difference here is like when the politicians are injecting themselves into the populace, where it's like, oh, Mamdani is going with the other New Yorkers to this game. It's not, hey, look, it's the Donald Trump celebration, right? Like, we can be patriotic and we can participate in these things and yeah, make them part of the culture, instead of it's like, yes, like my very special
Trump birthday event. Yeah,
like,
I hate that shit.
As fuck.
But that I think it's the guy's point, which is like, there's stuff to learn from it, which is, and you can do it better, right? Like, you can have a moment of unity. And I think government should be involved in like celebrations, in remembrances, in sports activities, in culture. It's I think a conservative talking point sometimes that like, oh, we shouldn't be funding the arts, we shouldn't be this and that. I do think that we should be involved in a better way. We just don't need like the ego and aggrandizement and corruption and graft and that kind of shit associated with it. And I think Guy would probably agree with that. So, I hear his take. I think it's a measured, respectable take.
Well, I want to win more fans to the Democratic Party. And if it takes having a monster truck rally under President Gavin Newsom on the White House lawn, let's fucking do it. I don't care. As long as we do it respectfully and we don't highlight the brands and we, all the thievery involved, I think there's a good way to do what Trump did on Sunday night. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it was good what he did. I'm saying I agree with you guys on all these points. I'm just saying there was something there that is resonating with some people out there. And those are the people that I want to try to win over.
Bit of a perfect segue there.
So you hate Michelle Obama, basically.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we want to show that clip just so we can see? Because like, I don't know if you can do it the way that we want to do it, Guy, because unfortunately, no matter what, you're going to be bringing these people along.
Well, Dana, he spoke about this, which we can talk about, but he needs to fine this guy, whatever, like $100,000 and to discourage this sort of behavior.
I want to respond to that, Guy, but we should play the clip first. But I understand where you're coming from, Guy, on that.
Actually, wait, hold on. Careful. They're being super strict about.
Oh yeah.
Just go to the transcript. Go to the transcript and just. I
can play 5 seconds of it. Yeah.
Wow.
5 seconds.
I played it. I played some of this last night, little clips from Twitter, and I had to cut out every single segment in the.
Yeah, don't do it.
Okay, all right.
They're going ham with it. Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
Well, you can play I sent the Dave Portnoy tweet. That's what I do want to talk about Portnoy in a second. Shit on Portnoy for a little bit. But just on this notion, right, that we all have to sit around and pretend like, obviously this is a fucked up thing to say. Obviously it's disrespectful. Obviously I condemn that kind of shit. Whatever, wrong time and place as well. But that we would have to come around and pretend as though Dana White should condemn this, and Dana White was so cool for condemning this, and he should find it, as though what was said on that stage about Michelle Obama isn't at like the bottom 10,000 most offensive things that was said in the last 3 months by people affiliated with the administration, let alone Dana White himself. So this is the kind of virtue signal bullshit that I'm so fucking tired of. And for Dana White and all of these hypocrites, I think that the MAGA people kind of have a point on that front. Like, who are you after endorsing this era of politics, which is so vile, so fucking demeaning, with no, absolutely no punches barred at all, for you to act like, no, we're above this. We cannot possibly, taint the grounds of the White House. I mean, the motherfucker tore down the East Wing to put up a ballroom to himself, illegally, I would add. And so this whole notion of sacredness of the space or of the office, which Trump is using to enrich himself and to go after people for grievances just like this. And every week it seems he's like saying horrible shit about the Obamas, including when he reposted an image of them or a part of the video of them as monkeys. Yeah. So like, why are we even entertaining this a song and dance? Maybe it suits Democrats to highlight that, like Dana White, but really put up this Dave Portnoy clip. I need you to do it.
Well, to be clear, is Portnoy, I'm assuming, is a Trump voter, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, why is he pretending like this is like, oh well, now this is too far?
Can you pause it and go to what I actually said there? I want to read it word for word. What I tweeted before you read this.
Okay.
It would be like asking the world's biggest widget factory to denounce widgets. Like, why are you asking the widget factory to denounce widgets? Why are you asking Trump to denounce like bad jokes or bad like insults of people? That's his whole thing. So press play.
Yeah, he's clearly pretty day drunk in this clip too. It's funny.
Can you guys see this full screen or no?
Yeah, fuck Prez.
One moment, I do think Trump has to denounce, and anybody associated with it has to denounce, and that's that crazy fighter guy. I don't even have his name up here, but he won the fight. He took the microphone and he made a derogatory comment about Michelle Obama. To me, that on the White House lawn. Now, these are UFC guys, all right? They're crazy. They're idiots. You have Sean Strickland, who's one of the craziest people of all time.
He's like a neo-Nazi.
To the point you can't even pay attention to what he says, snuck in. But when you have that on the White House lawn, on an event put down.
That's a bridge too far.
I don't
you
care
lost
what
Portnoy on that.
About the Obamas or anything. That has to be an immediate denounce. Like, doesn't speak for me.
Yeah,
I have no problem with the event. I guess you run that risk because these guys are lunatics.
What a pussy bitch.
Was the only thing. If Trump should denounce it, he should say that was totally wrong. The event itself, listen, the troops seem to love it. All the people there seem to love it.
They're being ordered to stand at attention and like fucking salute. I think you're crying over
spilled milk if you.
All right, can you pause? I can't even deal with this hypocrite that much.
It's a bridge too far when you're on the lawn and it's a UFC fighter who are known to say stupid shit like this. But when you're the president and you're in the White House, that's fine. I'll vote for him. That's kind of where he's coming from.
Barstool was like doing. Oh, sorry, Dave Portnoy specifically, I think, was making jokes about raping women. He was making jokes. They were. This might have been part of my take, guys. And listen, I'm not saying you can't joke and stuff like that. I'm not trying to say that, but like to act as though these people are genuinely offended at these kinds of comments in a political setting is so beyond laughable. And I don't have no time for it.
Well, I think the fact that he believes Trump should denounce this, as if that's even in the cards in any capacity, shows we still have some work to do here.
You would laugh if he did that. Like, it would be so out of character and phony. If oh God, Trump
never
denounced this joke. It's like it would mean nothing. It would be like the serial killer condemning murder. It's like it makes no sense to even like say that would be a good thing to do. It would be so out of sync.
What's the quote from Jeffrey Epstein? I hate pedophiles.
Yeah, like what good would that condemnation be? It's like it wouldn't mean anything.
Well, it just, to me, it shows that there's still some progress to be made here. Like, people still believe Trump is capable of something that he isn't. Yeah. And so we may be convinced of that here online, us as content creators and our audiences, but a lot of people, including drunk Dave Portnoy, think Trump could still be a good guy and do the right thing. And it's just, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, if
Fuck 'em.
anything, maybe this is a shot in the dark. But does this give you maybe a little hope that it's like, wait, hold on, these people are on his side and they still haven't woken up to the reality? And maybe if you showed them enough of like a pattern that they've just been in a bubble being insulated against, they'd be like, wait, hold on, oh, this is just who he is. Like, we all know this, it's just true. But is this guy like so fucking trapped in the right?
He made fun of Rob Reiner being fucking murdered in cold blood with his wife by their own son.
I never saw that piece.
Trump made fun of Rob. He said he died because of Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, he said
Rob Reiner was slaughtered.
Mueller's death. Like, yeah, I don't understand how
He
these
said,
people are
"Good,
missing that."
Mueller is dead." Like, what are we talking about? Portnoy, fuck you, Prez. Prez is such a bitch too, because he will always do this kind of cancel culture shit, bullshit, lip woke on too far whenever it suits him. But when he wants to do a little virtue signal, and by the way, this is him signaling that he's fair and balanced. He'll be like, "I voted for the weed referendum in Florida, and I called out that Trump didn't denounce the whatever. The guy said something about Michelle," and then all the rest of the time he's just glazing and dick sucking fucking Trump. I can't stand Prez. He's the biggest hypocrite.
It's not going to happen overnight. This is a step in the right direction. And this is the grieving process for these guys who believed in Trump and bought all his lies. I am still blown away by how many people just got involved in politics recently, like even since Trump won in 2024. So a lot of people actually believe Trump and still think he's a different guy. So I think a lot of people are still waking up.
I had somebody in my YouTube chat point out that Josh Shapiro is already on it. So like Pennsylvania's hosting a UFC event. He did a podcast appearance with Dana White. So technically that's already happening now.
I maybe this is me being irrational because okay, there's the
hang on.
There's the like
this is like me saying shit on the party if you have to.
No, I get it. I'm self-aware of that, Hutch. Listen, I'm accepting that I'm possibly being hypocritical about this, and maybe guy has a point. And hey, whatever. I said Kamala should be on Joe Rogan. Maybe I'm being inconsistent, but I just despise Dana White with everything in my fucking body. That guy is just such a dirty motherfucker, just a dirty, dirty guy. But you know what? I'll give Shapiro the grace to do what he wants to do. Monster trucks, UFC, whatever.
I mean, there's a reason he's like plus 15 in Pennsylvania.
It's crazy. So, I mean, like his approval is insane.
You know who's got the best net approval of Democratic senators? Do you guys know this?
Well, I know.
I don't know.
I think it's Mark.
Should we guess? Oh, too late.
Oh, I think it's Mark Kelly. I think he's plus.
Wow.
I could be wrong about that. It might be that he's the most popular politician in Arizona, but he's plus 15 in Arizona.
I was thinking
we just love
astronauts
effective in America.
I thought you were saying who's the most effective. My bad. I didn't know who has the highest approval. I have no clue actually.
You mentioned Gavin Newsom a minute ago. That's a good segue because well, there's two things. First, he announced that the administration has been like actively investigating him and his wife. Apparently, that investigation started under Biden. Don't take my word for that. It was just literally like some journalist on Twitter made that claim, and I didn't really have time to fact check it right before. And also, he formally announced that he's considering a run for 2028. So,
formally announced he's considering it.
Yes.
I don't even know why they do that weird playing coy thing. Is that is there a reason? Do you guys know? Like Ro Khanna, there's he's like, okay, I'm doing my national tour, and it's like, okay, but you know what we're doing. It's just say it, and it's like, no, I can't. Why not? Like, is it because the Oppo research will start earlier?
I think maybe that some of that, but I think a lot of it has to do with like financial stuff. Once you have like an actual campaign and you're like soliciting donations, there's a bunch of like compliance stuff that turns on, as well as I think they want to read the temperature. They don't want to do they want to avoid a mill situation where the polls just like kind of galactically go against you and you have to like bow out or to lose embarrassingly. So I think that there are a bunch of pros to announcing to being early or whatever. Look at the fucking who's the ice guy, the Bovino with his fucking shit. So you get some name recognition, but he's already like very ubiquitous, and so I think for him the compliance stuff and waiting to play his cards probably makes sense to wait.
I think he wants to. I think the candidates want to be in control of like their formal announcement. They want to make like a big show of it and be the one controlling that narrative. But we in California have known that this guy is going to run for president for like 20 fucking years. Like there's been speculation about this guy running literally for over 20 years now. So yeah.
Well, it's a huge gift to Gavin Newsom, who's been kind of out of the spotlight for a minute. And I mean, what better what better energy to inject into your 2028 chances than Trump to open an investigation into you? You know,
Definitely.
you're public enemy number one for him. So hey, man, there must be something there.
Definitely.
It's so fucked up, and I want to call out by call out, I'm just being praise Soipel and I, because I think that we applied the same standard to Gavin Newsom now that we applied previously to Hassan Piker, and it's the following: it's once you've seen a track record of corruption, bad motive, outright abuse when it comes to investigations, federal investigations into politically relevant people, and in other words, that bear on enemies of Trump, you have a duty after this track record to take a negative oppositional position against the action until shown, and perhaps that will come out, Hutch, as you alluded to, that there is some sort of neutral basis that isn't just reliant on the conclusory say-so of this administration. They have shown themselves time and time again to be totally unreliable and corrupt. And so we need to hold them to that negative inference no matter what, unless you're shown the evidence of the corroborated evidence that would tend to suggest that it's a non-biased motive. The last thing I'll say, I know I've been talking a lot, it's the same exact MO as what occurred in the first impeachment case. You guys might forget because you either you're stupid like fucking who's this woman, politician, Republican, Anna Paulina Luna. She didn't know what the first impeachment was about. She thought it was about Russiagate when it was really about this the Ukraine prosecutor type situation where we're having this phone call between Trump and this kind of leverage on what? On announcing investigations into the Bidens at a similar kind of time in the cycle, or at least close enough. It's his MO. Use the powers of state either to coerce foreign prosecutors or domestic prosecutors to announce investigations into political rivals. And why shouldn't we take that inference now? Even though we know dick about this investigation, I think that we have enough of a track record here to take that negative inference. I'll shut up.
Well, this DOJ has been incompetent since Trump took over in January last year. So because of their failures up to this point with Letitia James, James Comey, and whoever else they're investigating, nobody believes any investigation is legitimate. So Gavin Newsom can just play the victim. I mean, maybe there is something there. I don't know. Supposedly they're investigating his wife and some connection between her.
He will not lose any support for this.
No, he'll gain.
He'll gain by Democrats.
Yeah, they're going after the corrupt, gruesome Newsom. That's all. That's all he has to say, and it's like, oh, of course.
That's how little credibility this administration has.
It's the same with Comey. It's the same with Letitia James. It's the same
Kelly,
with
Mark Kelly.
Yeah, Mark Kelly. He literally said we should hang these people. Yeah. Where's the drop off in support? I mean, it's not. The drop off's happening. It's not because of that. Absolutely not because of that.
And the drama is huge. Like one of Mark Kelly's. I think Mark Kelly's a stellar 2028 candidate. He's from a border state. He's got this great military background, astronaut, married to Gabby Gifford.
You got a good story.
Very confident in front of the cameras, but he's not involved in any drama beyond the seditious six. But that happened a while ago. So, this is great for Gavin. People love the drama nowadays, and it holds people's attention.
Yeah, Kelly went from pulling, I think, like below 1% in the primary to pretty consistently like around 4 or 5% now, which is, obviously he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to run for the presidency. But, that's, he definitely put Kelly on the map and put him into the conversation. And so I was telling my chat today that I would bet my life that Gavin Newsom's campaign is euphoric that the DOJ is going after them because he's going to climb. I don't know if he's going to catch up with Kamala because she's like doing pretty well. And she seems to have like some pretty rock solid support with black voters, which is really fucking important in the primaries, but he'll get a nice bump from this for sure.
I'm telling you, don't sleep on open carry Kamala. She could totally redesign a campaign that wins. Signs that say, I fucking told you so, or whatever. I don't know.
Oh my God.
If
you
she
think that would
comes
work?
out,
Don't you think that would come off as too smug guy? Like
no shot.
Yeah. All right.
If she comes out really aggressively, then I think she will. I think that's going to resonate with Democratic voters right now for the same reason that like Plattner was able to overcome these scandals is because they're looking for people that are going to tap into that anger and be like an avatar for them. And, she had to constrain herself quite a bit in 2024. And so I think a lot of people are underestimating her chances of winning again or winning the primary. And she has historically been pretty scrappy. And so I think we're going to get a much more aggressive version. And it's just the fact that like she's retained a lot of support from black voters, and they're just so important during the primaries. It's insane how much pull they have in the primaries. And so, I don't know, man. People will dismiss her. A lot of people in my chat fight me on this, but she right now is definitely the best position to win.
Isn't it just too early to say? Period. I mean, like, there's so it's like saying Donald Trump has no chance in 2014, right? Like that was a meaningless statement then, even though it made sense given all the facts we had. There's so much that can happen between now and then that like I just don't even like anyone asked me to comment like who's your 2028 hopeful. I'm like I don't fucking know, dude. It's like but we won't even know till like 2027 like December if who's got like a really good chance. I feel like, but
she would have to. I think she would have to fuck up. Like she would have to have like a couple really bad moments or something like that, or you get like a dark horse situation like with Ossoff. Every time I see that guy speak, is crazy. That guy seems like he's a generational talent in the making. He's just like he's got the politics side down just really, really well. He's just very impressive every time.
He's doing the Tallarico thing, the populism, pragmatic like merge. I think it's probably what needs to happen for all Democratic candidates going forward.
Is he?
I did not.
Oh, he's talking about Epstein class. So I know he's doing that. So like I think that's a populist talking point. So.
I don't think you'll see Tallarico or Ossoff run for president, though. They're too important in their seats. Like you just can't replace them. If Tallarico wins, like people are like, he's going to run for president. I hope he doesn't. Because who else is going to win that seat in Texas?
Assuming he can win it, which I think he can. The polls all show him ahead, but he did in fact not wear a dress, but the AI video showed that he was wearing a dress. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh my God. Yeah,
that's very embarrassing that he didn't do that.
What piece did that come out from the opposition campaign, or was that just some random person?
I don't know. I saw it, and I'm like, this is why I hate AI. I will say to the Ossoff point. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, guy.
Well, I just want to say somebody put money behind that. They ran like ads with that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this is like actually paid opposition AI shit where he's like, oh, I love trans kids, and he's in a dress, and it's like, how is this not illegal? Like first of all, he didn't say this. Second of all, this isn't even him, and you're using his likeness and voice. Like I've heard this. I forgot who said this, or I've heard a bunch of people suggest this actually. If we want Republicans to denuclearize, we should be making every fucking AI video we can of Donald Trump saying "I fuck children" and just paste it everywhere, fucking everywhere, until they say we need to regulate.
This is an artistic performance. This is like an interpretation. Like, no, I think that why the fuck not? Didn't like South Park do something with? I thought that they did some kind of like either AI thing or some kind of him with having a small dick or something. If they're gonna go there, I don't see any reason why we should refrain from doing that kind of shit. I have no we genuinely need to use all of our cards available to us within the domain of politics. I'm not saying go out and do crazy stuff. I wanted to say something about Ossoff, but Hutch, you can go.
Well, I was going to say I want to take it back to Tallarico real quick and say if that guy flips Texas, he should absolutely run for president. 100%. 100%.
Don't you think that loses the seat in the next session?
Well, actually, wait, hang on. How would the replacement go? Would the governor pick the replacement?
Until a year
the next
or
election,
two.
right? Yeah.
Never mind. I take it back immediately.
You want those 6 years. You want those 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will know on Ossoff, people seem to be more worried about Michigan as a seat than Georgia. And I think that is a notable thing to observe. Now, maybe it's not true. Maybe we should be, because I would say Michigan in general is seen more as a lean blue swing state, and Georgia is seen more as a lean red swing state. Nonetheless, the consternation seems to be about Michigan, not Georgia, which I think speaks to Ossoff's talents.
Oh, he's incredibly talented. Don't get me wrong. I just want to hold on to that seat in Georgia.
Yeah,
he's got time. He's pretty young. But I think like Cook Political Report put Georgia as like leans blue. That's not even. I mean, GOP has basically given up on taking that seat from Ossoff.
Have you guys seen the speculation about Plattner, which I don't even necessarily disagree with? Like, if he absolutely stomps Collins out and wins by like 10 points, I feel like he would. Well, I almost said certain, like 100%, but he might run for president if he actually stomps her out by 10 points. That guy might run for president.
I don't know. Plattner for president.
Things have happened.
He had a great acceptance speech, I will say. I thought it was a very effective speech. I thought he did very well. But I don't want him as president. I don't think he has the judgment for it.
He's a good speaker, man. I think people should really tune in. His messaging is resonating with people, whether you like him or not. He's hitting all the right notes, and the people of Maine sure as hell like him. So something to be said about that.
I'm choosing to be optimistic now that I've given up my foolish dreams of replacing him before the July 13th deadline.
Yeah, those dreams were dead. That was just like a very sweet story you were telling yourself, but it wasn't going to happen, Hutch.
Well, the dreams are dead for me officially, like when he met with the senators and they still backed him. And as soon as that happened, I was like, all right, well, there's just not, if there were like notable senators that came out and left that door open, then maybe I would, maybe you could say
I was on Capitol Hill at the time, and I sensed it in the air. They were going to stand tall and support Plattner. I could just feel it when I'm walking through those halls.
Hutch, hear me on this plan. He steps down and Kamala takes the reins and finishes it out with 100 days left.
In Maine?
In Maine? She'd probably win in Maine.
Yeah, probably.
I actually don't know that. If some California, I think a lot of Plattner's cachet in Maine is because he's like home. He feels very homegrown among Mainers. I mean, I will just tell you, there's this great book. It's called Lobster Gangs of Maine. The fishing industry and the oyster stuff and the sea, like that is very much, I feel like, embedded as a part of Maine culture. And even just how he holds himself. There's an aspect of where he would fit in Portland, and he would fit in the more rural communities in Maine. I think that there is something a little bit provincial about Maine. That's not to put it down. I think a lot of states are like that. But that's one of the weaknesses, I think, of having all these Democrats coming out of California is people just like kind of view coastal elites. And even though Maine is also on the coast for whatever reason, California is kind of that's seen as baggage, right? Being the governor of the most economically prosperous, one of the, like, in terms of like raw output, most productive states in the union, and the biggest like Democratic state is seen as baggage for Gavin Newsom.
Might help him in the primary. Might help him in. It might not be a weakness in the primary, but in the general for sure. But I mean, it's just like, despite my detailed problems with Plattner, he is an impressive guy for not having any kind of history in politics, the way that he carries himself, the way that he's done messaging. The very first time I saw that guy, before anything came out, the very first ad, I showed my stream, and I was like, check this guy out. This is an interesting candidate.
You were the one who brought him up on the show. You were like, listen to the way this guy talks. Like, this is going to
remember that
resonate with
distinctly.
people. I remember that. Yeah.
No, but he
and I remember you said in his tattoo, that's awesome. You said that.
And you said, I know about totem comps. And the thing is, I think the best way to put the fears aside is just to accept, Hutch, that he's not a Nazi. Okay, you just need to accept that he's not a Nazi.
I don't think that he's a Nazi.
I think that the best evidence shows that he's not a Nazi. He's just, I guess, a liar. But I truly don't think he's, like, if you look at the Reddit posts, they are not consistent with what a Nazi would post if you don't think that your Reddit account is ever going to be discovered. The fact that his exes aren't saying like, oh yeah, he talked about how Jews suck, and he talked about how he was a big fan of the Fuhrer, which, by the way, there are on the record attestations that Trump was a big fan of Hitler, or at least had
from his wife,
either Mein Kampf or something. Yeah, so those kind of testimonials as to his Nazism don't exist. Those Reddit comments that we have where he didn't expect to be discovered aren't consistent with Nazi philosophy. And so once you let that wash over you, he's not a Nazi. And then it feels a lot better to be like, okay, yeah, I support this guy.
I never felt confident he was a Nazi. I just, whatever. I don't listen. He's a candidate now. He's our guy. So
he might be an idiot, but he's our idiot.
I'm pulling punches a bit, But there was another woman that came out, and I guess if we take her word to be true, along with the other women, he told one woman that they got the tattoo because they didn't know what it was. Or no, he told one woman he got the tattoo to always remember that the U.S. were the bad guys in Iraq. And then he told another woman that he got the tattoo to, because they're like deadly kill squad, and not necessarily because they were Nazis or whatever. But yeah, to your point, Pisco, I just think he's, hasn't been honest, but I don't, to your point, I think that's fair. That's accurate. The fact that we have Reddit posts going back like fucking 10 years, and I haven't seen any kind of inkling in any of that he's like an actual Nazi. It's just more his judgment, his character that had been an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, we have current senators or congressmen like Steve King, or these people are like, we only need heritage Americans, and like they're actual like literal Nazis basically. So like, we know what that looks like, and he has not expressed anything like that. So
Steve King's interesting. He's no longer in Congress, but he supported a candidate running for governor, I think, in Iowa that was not endorsed by Trump, and his candidate won instead of Trump's backed candidate, which was an L for Trump.
What I really want somebody to ask Plattner that would make me feel more comfortable, and not that I'm not comfortable, which I am, but it would make me more comfortable if somebody asked him, if they couldn't get the votes, if the Democrats get the majority and they can't get the votes for Medicare for all, but can get the votes for a public option, would you vote for that? Or similar kind of compromises.
Sure, he should say
he probably would, but I do want to hear an answer to that question.
Interesting.
And then I want to ask him, would he have voted for the Enabling Act?
I think I said this last week. I think he's lying. I just think he's lying for personal reasons. He's embarrassed. He probably doesn't want to tell his wife there's more to the story than I told you about. So I think he's lying, and I'm okay with that, as crazy as it is, because I've given up on our politicians having great character. I think that was out the window as soon as Trump won in 2016, and especially when he won in 2024, because we talked about January 6th and the corruption, and the American people said, we don't give a shit. We want cheaper grocery prices. So why are we still playing this game? I mean, the genie's out of the bottle.
I don't think he needed to lie. That's the thing. Like he didn't have the foresight to know how loyal the voters of Maine would be. So I mean, I understand why he lied. I don't necessarily like it, but I understand why he did it. But looking back, I feel like he probably thinks he could have just said the truth and he would have been fine.
Probably.
Yeah.
And people make stupid lies sometimes. Go ahead, sorry, Ira.
Well, Ro Khanna has great answers. Like, he should just hire Ro Khanna to run his campaign. He's been doing his events. Ro Khanna said, look, this guy's damaged by the wars that Susan Collins voted for, and he's not perfect. And we're trying to prevent new wars like this Iran war. And so I think if you just keep hitting that, people will accept his flaws.
You mentioned Michigan, Pisco.
Yeah.
That race is becoming a little interesting. I think McMorrow had dropped a bit. And then now there are these outside groups that are pouring like millions of dollars in the final stretch. I think their primary isn't until August. So there's still 2 months to
August
campaign.
4th. That's crazy.
That feels like it should be closer. The amount of coverage has been crazy, and it's still so far away.
Was it Plattner who said he supported like 2 months campaigns that are publicly funded? I don't know if he did that and it was kind of like tongue in cheek, then maybe my shit wouldn't come out. But like, I support, like, that's how they do it in a lot of other countries. These long campaigns are ridiculous.
Yes. It's pretty like grueling, I think, to watch and to be a part of, and they make a lot of these news cycles like stick around, and it really in a summer where the news, I think we can all agree, is a little bit lighter and less of it than during, not to say there's nothing important and there's not, important war updates that we'll have to get to eventually. But I do think that sometimes they overstay their welcome. The Michigan race in particular, I am a little worried about it. I think that I think on balance, we probably have a good chance on it, but I am more worried about Michigan than I am of Maine. I'm going to be honest with you right now. Like I'm more worried about
why?
Because of my intuition
let me ask,
regarding
how does the GOP win
polling,
in Michigan, in your opinion?
Oh, I think they're able to win. First of all, the polling in the head-to-head right now, I know you don't trust polling that much, has Mike Rogers as a competitive candidate in Michigan. Sure. So among Michigan candidates that Republicans could have picked, they haven't picked someone who is, so unpopular, so crazy, or one of these like perennial losers like Kerry Lake or whatever, right? And he is someone who I think is not offensive to a regular Michigander, right? So that's feeding into it a little bit. And then a kind of notion that Michigan hasn't been particularly polled well, or in recent years especially, where there's I was surprised with how much it went for Trump in 2024. I think Wisconsin was a closer margin than Michigan, and I think that's true. And I didn't expect that at all. And so I'm a little bit like once bitten, twice shy. I was like gung-ho that Michigan, if there was one state among the swing states that it was going to be, I just didn't see Kamala losing Michigan as among the swing states if she was going to win one. And so that one was like, maybe it's just a shock and it's like some kind of like trauma that I've experienced in Michigan. So I'm open to the fact that it's not based on like rational thinking. But just looking at the polling, I think I want to see more polls with like a 4 or 5 point margin of difference between the Democrat and the Republican. I haven't seen a lot of those. There's a recent one, like a pro El Sayed poll, that shows him ahead of Rogers, I think. But most of the polls had the Republican ahead at this point. It's early days. It's early days. What can I say?
That was an internal poll, I believe, unless you're thinking of a different one. But
could you guys comment? All I hear about is Al Sayed McMorrow, and Stevens is like the either leading or second. Why do I hear nothing about Stevens?
I think you know why.
Well,
no, I don't.
It was a pretty close like 3-way contest, and then Syed got a big bump because Fox News started talking about him. They were talking about Hassan a lot. He did an appearance with him, and so he, I think they did him a lot of favor and raised his name recognition because his polling did go up after he started getting all that coverage. I have to take this call because it's for my pet.
Go for it.
My veterinarian.
To answer your question, go ahead, Ira.
Well, I just say I'd be fine with any of them. Stevens is a current congresswoman. She's recruited and endorsed by Chuck Schumer, and she is ahead in the polls. But she's like a Saturday Night Live character. If you watch any of the debates, she's so funny. She's so weird. But she's pretty solid. I think she's got a really good chance. I'm rooting for McMorrow. I think she's the realest one in there who's very practical. She's got some great policies she's been involved in, like something called RX Kids in Michigan that they took statewide, where they give pregnant moms $1,500 and then they give them like $500 for the last 6 months of their pregnancy or something like that. And so, these are like practical solutions that improve people's lives in Michigan that I think she could bring to a federal level. I think would be great.
I think that Israel is a toxic brand among Democrats. That the Democratic Party does not approve of Israel's conduct, and they're very Israel skeptical. And in the primary, it's rearing its head in the coverage. Maybe not in the actual primary voting, but certainly in the coverage. I think that there's a lot of discounting of Stevens among Democratic media people because of how toxic I think Israel can be as a brand issue. It would be like, I would say, a similar situation, maybe not entirely the same. It's a comparison. I'm not saying they're exactly the same. If you found out that like El Sayed was in favor of cutting all aid to Ukraine, there are some of these like foreign issues that maybe don't rear their head as particularly important among the general electorate or among even sometimes the primary voters, if you just distill out their most top issues. But among the elite commentary class, I think that they can be like make or break. I certainly would be very skeptical of any Democratic candidate who was like, who cares about Ukraine? It's over there in Europe and it's like very far away. I would be like, fuck this person. And similarly, I'm not in favor of closer ties with Israel. I think Israel needs to be curbed. I think that what they're doing, I eventually hope we get to the war, with respect to the Iran war, is atrocious. And they've gotten us, along with our alleged president, involved in like a huge quagmire. So, that to me explains why the coverage has been so assuming McMorrow or El Sayed.
Did you say alleged president? You mean like allegedly involved?
No, alleged president. I don't think that he's actually in office. I think he's assuming the duties.
Pisco, I think Democrats are reluctant to go fully on board hating on Israel because they recognize this is a far-right government that is in control, and there could be a different government as early as this fall when the elections occur. I don't know, but so I don't think they feel like they can completely abandon Israel. But it's becoming more of the general opinion, right? Even going across party lines now that, hey man, we need to do something about this relationship. This isn't working for us.
The litmus test has shifted to like, are you going to hold Netanyahu accountable to like, do you support defensive aid? Do you support any aid? Like it's definitely shifted a lot, and now it's what?
100%, yeah. And one thing though, I hope, right, that the Israeli society goes in a different direction. I think I saw a statement by Lapid. He's one of the he's not even the main guy who is the opposition. There's Naftali Bennett, right? I think he's the main opposition. He's like also a hawk when it comes to a lot of these quote unquote security issues. But Lapid was criticizing Netanyahu on strategic grounds. He's like, oh, this is a quagmire and a disaster, and how did you let the relationship with America fracture like this, and why are you letting this deal get through? And so even among the non-coalition members of the Knesset, it does seem that there's a general agreement that the policies which Democrats are generally against should be supported just more strategically effectively.
No, you're right. Yair Lapid he actually is the leader of the opposition. I looked it up just to make sure. But
There you go.
you're right. They're all being critical of Netanyahu right now, saying, "How could you let this deal happen? You know, we need to finish the job or whatever." So that seems quite popular in Israel as well. But yeah, I hear you. I don't know.
I wish it were otherwise, because I don't think it's in Israel's long-term interest to take the kind of actions they're taking. I think that it's really short-sighted. And yes. I think Netanyahu, if you're one of these people who supported the policy in Iran or indeed in Lebanon or Gaza, look at where it's gotten you. Is this really, I mean, Iran right now, and I think we should transition to a conversation about the war. Sure. If what is being said about this peace treaty holds, and if the general reporting is accurate, the Islamic Republic and the regime and the IRGC have been strategically strengthened, and they kicked our ass in this war. And America's influence in terms of their accommodations for international shipping, in terms of our defense of our friends, the reliance on our word and our commitments has been totally and completely shattered. And Iran has exercised control and dominion over this crucial strait. And they're walking away, allegedly, with like hundreds of billions of dollars in the equivalent, guys, don't fall for this like marketing stuff, the equivalent of a pay, basically reparations, the equivalent of reparations. Well, it's crazy. They won.
The fact that they're not releasing the details of the agreement that we supposedly signed yesterday is insane to me and shows how much of an L we must have taken. Like, they're trying to stretch this out as far as possible till Friday for the signing ceremony so they can control the narrative all this week and say, no, Iran's full of shit. No, we did this and we did that. That to me is alarming right there.
But why withhold the MOU, right? Why withhold it?
It sucks for us. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and that's why Ben Shapiro is sensing it. That's why Mark Levin is sensing it, and that's why Iran and Pakistan and Qatar are so like giddy, right? They know this is essentially a surrender, and maybe it's even the best course for America to take right now. But that is only true because of the situation that Trump put us in.
It's not even a surrender for addressing the problems that we tried to deal with in the war. The strategic goals to disarm Iran, stop the nuclear. It's to reopen the Strait of Hormuz,
which was the status quo antebellum, right? That was the status quo prior to the intervention, and to have that as a win. I mean, everything has been pushed back. The nuclear issue, the more delay, the better for Iran, right? The issues of the proxies. If this actually ensures some amount of hedging against incursions against Hezbollah, then what's the effect of that? The effect of that is you have a reanimated Iran that has wiped out its old leadership, its decrepit and unpopular leadership, with new vigor, and you've totally undercut all of the pro-democracy movement. They are now a player that everyone is going to go to, right? You're not going to go to America to ensure international shipping. If you need to cross the Strait of Hormuz, you're going to one country, I guess maybe two, Oman and Iran, and that's it. It's a humongous defeat. And the terms that are being proposed here as part of the MOU are like the JCPOA plus huge benefits to Iran that weren't encompassed by the JCPOA. And it's just so insane that we're in this situation. It's a bigger disaster than Iraq, a bigger disaster than Afghanistan, arguably a bigger disaster than Vietnam, I will say. Maybe not in lives lost. Obviously, more American troops lost lives, and as well as Vietnamese civilians lost lives in that conflict. But in terms of like the geostrategic area, Vietnam is still, is not like more of a backwater than Iran is. Iran is like a centrally located, population 90 million, and so it's more geostrategically relevant to our friends and ultimately to the economy.
Well, and if anybody out there thinks this is the end of international waterways being free, then they're correct, because other countries are gonna be like, oh, okay, if they can close it, we can close it, and they're gonna be talking about Yemen real soon. Disaster for Trump.
Well, I'm curious. Yeah, like you guys said, I mean, like there's conflicting reports on what is being said, whether or not the Trump admin is being forthcoming with what's in the deal, because it's not lining up with what Iran is saying. Apparently Israel wasn't part or involved in these talks at all, and like that's part of what happened on Sunday, why the deal got delayed an hour, because they struck Lebanon again. I'm curious if they're going to do kind of what they did at the beginning and try to sabotage and say, no, we're not happy with this.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, like why would they not try to ignite flames again? And then Marco Rubio has to come out and be like, "Sorry guys, like Israel forced us to. If we didn't do this, we'd get all our bases would be struck again." I'm not optimistic that this holds till Friday, or if they it's a little concerning.
It's a weird couple of days that we're dealing with here, but yeah, I mean, Israel sees this as an existential threat, and especially Hezbollah. And now they're being told you got to live with Hezbollah, and Iran's going to have $300 billion more to fund them even more. And then politically, it's an existential threat to Netanyahu to just give up and stop the fight and let Hezbollah and this Iran regime exist after
right before
committing all this.
Too.
Right before their elections this
yes.
fall as well.
And what is Trump worried about? He's worried about having it done on his birthday. He's worried about not calling it a toll, right? They're calling it like an environmental. They're probably going to call it some other thing to save face. And the reparations, let's call them what they are. The reparations are going to be either funneled through, some kind of sanctions relief or some kind of, or like proxies, third countries, maybe the Gulf, the GCC countries. Like that's what he cares about, is saving face. But anyone with like a brain and a soul and a consciousness can see this is a complete and total loss. And it encourages Iran to act badly. Why? Right? They know if you weren't gonna intervene now with boots on the ground, why would you intervene in 4 months? Right? So the minute American assets move away, they have every incentive to the world to behave more hawkishly than they did in the past. And they know that Trump is not going to call the bluff, because that would bring us right back to where we are now. And we are where we are now, and Trump's not willing to go through with it, clearly.
Well, they almost killed 2 of our soldiers when that drone hit that helicopter. From what I read, they got very lucky. And so, yeah, every day that goes by without fighting, it's going to be harder to restart the fighting. And I don't think it's going to happen 2 months from now for sure.
I also read that the oil, despite the straight opening up, analysts are saying like the oil is not going to go down to pre-war levels for a long time. Like it's going to hold where it is. So if anyone's worried like, oh, maybe this will fuck Democrats in the midterms, even if it does go perfectly to what they want, it's not going to clear up in the next 3-4 months. So,
yeah, it's $80 a barrel right now. I don't see it going much lower. This is a huge mess to clean up with all these ships that are stuck there, and all the they lost like 1 billion barrels of oil over the last few months because of the different routes closed and all that. So I just can take a long time to recover the pre-war levels of oil.
I think that there's also what needs to be said on the kind of response to see from the online commentators is I'm already starting to see, I'm sorry, it's triggering me, the TYT of like, I will give credit when if this deal comes through, whatever. I heard that, I heard something like this, and you're seeing all the kind of spin from the right-wing MAGA sources as well. Like, wow, historic deal. Like, they have no shame. They literally have no shame. The same regime, they said we need to destroy them because we can't trust them with anything, right? The whole basis and principle for intervening on the nuclear threat was you can never trust this regime. And for them to celebrate this deal is just beyond the pale. I think that people like Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin are not going to have a total crash out. They're going to try to play for the long game. But if this holds, I think it's a massive defeat for Israel and the United States, but maybe the best possible outcome.
I think you're going to see some public frustration. Like Lindsey Graham is already hinting at it a little bit, And so I think when MAGA finally
he needs to win re-election, though.
Yeah, but he won the primary. Like the chance of a Democrat winning in South Carolina is, I think, pretty slim. But
he's an Iran hog. I mean, he wants Iran to be glassed, right? So like he'll never be happy until that country doesn't exist.
Yeah, but he's already grumbling. Like he was pissed about the deal when it first came out, and he said, "Well, I heard there's some rumors that Saudi Arabia and Pakistan are joining the Abraham Accords and normalizing relations with Israel. So that would be genius." Well, of course, that never happened. So I think he's going to be quite unhappy with this deal.
I just think that like the amount of money that has been lost, it's just been a humongous sink of time and resources. And we got nothing out of it. This is the fault of a lot of people. It's the fault of Trump, obviously, first and foremost. It's the fault of Israel. It's the fault of the American people. What did we fucking expect as a country? Really, like, what did we expect? We installed this lunatic into the highest office in the land.
He
And
said
it's
no
a
new
complete
wars.
shit show. Yeah, it's just so fucked up.
Hold on.
You good, brother?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know a lot about Iran, so I'm just listening.
No, I was worried about you. You seem sad. Is everything okay?
No. Our cat is really sick, unfortunately, but
Oh.
she was doing not great on Saturday, but we got her some medication to stimulate her appetite. So she's doing better today.
Dude, as long as you have a credit card, they can keep these fuckers alive for I put like 10, 15 grand in my dog the last year of his life. They're like, yeah, we'll keep him overnight. It's
Zero
$1,200.
chill.
Yeah,
So-
we did that with a couple pets, paid thousands of dollars for cancer treatments.
Yeah.
We're not doing it for her. She's got large cell lymphoma, and it's just like not a great diagnosis.
Damn.
So, yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
it's okay. It's okay.
It's part of the deal when we get these little guys. It sucks.
Yeah.
Can't let them suffer. But yeah, sorry to hear that.
No, it's all good. Well, did you guys already talk about the situation room stuff?
Oh no, we haven't. We should.
Nope.
Bro, it's wild. The two reporters, Haberman and Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan.
Swan, yeah.
who did the best interview with Trump literally ever. Like I still think his interview with Trump is the funniest interview ever.
Where he's like,
where he showed him the papers, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, is this the Australian guy who
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
so baffled by it's like, what are you saying?
He just, man, yeah. So they reported on a supposed meeting that members of the cabinet had in the Situation Room, which I don't know much about the Situation Room. I'm learning more about it now, but apparently that's a very secure.
yeah, it's where all the maps
room.
are. Have you guys seen what's the movie? It's Kubrick. How I Stopped Doctor Strange.
Strangelove.
Yeah.
Great.
Where is it? It's where the big board is. It's where all the maps are. Yeah, this is the place, by the way, where they brought Pamela Bondi hailed into the Situation Room. I think it was in the Situation Room, like to caucus members and to try to get their votes on the Epstein Files thing. And so this would make perfect sense that they have audio from one of these motherfuckers who probably committed let's be honest, it probably is a felony to record this shit and to send it to.
No cell phones.
Yeah. I'm sure that it was probably like at least designated classified or whatever. And maybe there's just even a per se rule in the Situation Room, I would assume, right? And yeah, like they have no chill. We knew this was Signalgate though, right? We knew it was Signalgate, and now we know it even more. And allegedly what they were doing was trying to do like PR ops and to do like whipping on Epstein's shit and the cover up on Epstein shit. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So it was not reported that they have audio of the meetings, but reportedly there have been multiple high-level cabinet members that have commented on background, speculating that they have audio because their reporting was so accurate, like down to the word.
Yeah,
which
they had some quotes in that article. They had very specific quotes in that article, and I was shocked when I read that in the New York Times. I'm like, how do they? Who remembered the exact words? That's interesting.
It was a stunning article. It wasn't even that long to read either. Apparently they're coming out with a book that releases next week.
So it was a book deal.
But the implications of if somebody is recording from inside the Situation Room, which number one, how? But number two, holy fucking shit. Because if there's recordings of meetings going to journalists, it makes one wonder if there's recordings going to, like adversarial countries or some such. It is a big deal. Apparently there was new reporting today from Jonathan Swan that Vance was pushing Susan Wiles to invoke the Insurrection Act in Minnesota. Yeah, to like crack down on, violently crack down on those protests after they had killed 2 American citizens, which is another like stunning story. So they're getting some crazy scoops, those two.
Here's a sneaky area of reform, Hutch, that you just brought up. We need to amend the Insurrection Act because there's one subpart of the Insurrection Act which is incredibly problematic and potentially vague, and which I'm concerned about. Its invocation. And so yeah, these are like insane that we have to be talking about, coup-related potentialities or invoking Insurrection Act for this kind of shit. So yeah, I mean, I totally agree that that's the OPSEC is crazy. But more to the point, what they're focused on is nothing good. Shit related to cover-ups, shit related to nationalizing federal National Guard troops and getting them to go sick them on American people. It's not good shit. It's not being focused on international policy in a way that is going to help everyone's lives. And so it's just a complete disaster and mess. And I'm frankly worried about what comes next in terms of the corruption. I think when Democrats uncover, like, if they take one of the houses of Congress and we get to have subpoena power, we don't even know like the half of the corrupt shit that's probably happening behind closed doors that we don't have stories on. That's what I'm worried about.
I think it's a reflection of how incredibly online JD Vance is, because he was like really pushing hard on both of these fronts. And, both of these things were like very, very salient in right-wing social media at the time. Yep. It was like all right-wing social media pundits like Jack Posobiec and all those people that were heavily pushing the administration to invoke the Insurrection Act. And he was also like very much aware of how damaging the Epstein stuff was to the online discourse. Yep. In fact, there was some reporting a couple of weeks ago, I think, that Susan Wiles had to put JD Vance on timeout on social media because he was like,
he was disappeared for weeks. I remember.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Well, he was arguing with like just random people on the internet. And so she was like, this is very much beneath the office of the vice presidency, which is funny because Trump's president.
Given everything.
But even Trump, though, doesn't like get in the weeds like that. He just does his fucking 3-page posts and doesn't really argue with people. Vance was like in the trenches, like actively.
With like John Favreau and other people like that.
Yeah.
And Vance, he had some terrible ideas in that, at least one of those meetings in the Situation Room. In that article, they said that he thought Tucker Carlson should interview Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wild. Yeah.
What did you think that would do? Like make her look good?
There were people that were, I think maybe Vance, but there were reportedly cabinet members that were floating the idea of pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah. And like there was like one adult in the room, apparently, like literally one guy who serves in the Justice Department, I think, who said, we absolutely under no circumstances can do this. Like it would make the situation 1,000 times worse. But the fact that they were even floating that.
I mean, yeah, they were having those meetings with her. They were like doing those like DOJ, like kind of organized meetings. And everyone was thinking like, what are they gearing up towards? Are they trying to keep her quiet? Like, so yeah, apparently she
got a cozier prison.
Yeah. Objective fact. What Hutch said is an objective fact.
But and we were all speculating like, are they going to fucking pardon this? But apparently, yeah, it was like legitimately floated, and multiple people in the cabinet were supportive of the idea.
Jeez.
And not to like help the victims or bring justice, to clear Trump's name. That's all these Situation Room meetings. I share Pisco's concern. Why are these guys focused on this stuff? How many 9/11 plots are being planned right now that these guys aren't working on? Like Jesus Christ, man, it's a miracle we haven't seen any.
That's a really key point too.
Maybe we should put Trump's face on everything, because then they'll give a shit about whether or not it gets blown up.
Yeah, true. Fuck. Actually, Vase. IRI's point is really important. There's the things we know that are corrupt. There are the things that are likely corrupt that we don't know about yet, right? And then there's the opportunity cost of all the corrupt stuff, and that is like a separate real cost that we're all facing. I will note, though, on the Vance question, it does tickle me that the guy is such a dork, and that he, in terms of aura and in terms of posting, he's just totally eclipsed by Hunter Biden, who seems to have more political savvy instincts in his pinky than Vance does. If these reports are to be believed.
Bit of a populist type. He's going on fucking Candace Owens and Gavin Newsom and hyping up Plattner and apparently talking shit about Kamala. Yeah, he's got a little bit of the populist brain rot, apparently.
So his Bidenism outweigh for you his populism, because he is a Biden stan.
Well, I mean, obviously I disagree. I understand, I respect, and I kind of like the fact that he has a searing hatred of the pod bros for being like.
Why do you respect that? What do they do to you, Hutch? What do they do?
No. It's not about that. Like,
is it the conduit video? Someone linked that. I have to watch it.
I didn't watch it yet. It's more just the fact that he, like he was loyal to his dad. Like it was bad politics. I think he was just wrong in his analysis, and it was clouded by the fact that he's his son. But I kind of like that he was like loyal for his dad like that. If I had a son, I would want him to go to bat for me in that way. he was wrong, but it's kind of endearing. It's kind of and then you also we also just know that they have like a really good relationship. Like the voicemail that Biden left for Hunter, when I listened to that, that's like a fucking that is such a loving thought. That's such a difficult thing to go through, to watch a family member or a loved one like completely destroy their lives in that way. And typically, your family members are like screaming at you for that stuff. But when you hear that voicemail, it's just nothing but unconditional love. So I like their relationship. It's nice.
I think
it's wholesome.
I think that voicemail came from the Hunter Biden laptop. I know a lot of other stuff did, showing the good relationship they had. Like the Republicans, when they investigated the Biden crime family the last 2 years of Biden's administration, they revealed that Biden paid for a Ford Raptor for Hunter in like 2018 for 3 months. And it just showed like he was a good dad, just a great dad.
That was them funneling money. The Hunter Biden crime family was funneling it was the big guy. It's whatever percent for the big guy. And they did this napkin math that was totally bullshit. Listen, I make no friends with my take on the Hunter Biden pardon, because I do understand, that kind of family dynamic and that loyalty. And I know it's not a popular take to say that the pardon was corrupt, especially given how corrupt the prosecutions of Trump are and were predictably going to be. And the fact that I take this negative inference against all political enemies of Trump whenever they do investigations. I know that position that I've offered it rubs people the wrong way. And I understand that.
It's inherently going to look corrupt if you pardon a family member. But like you said, in the context of everything that the Trump admin had been gearing up to do, I'm agreeing with you. I think if you look at it, and if anyone else was coming into office after that, if it was like John Kasich, if it was Mitt Romney, I don't think he would have done it. I think this was a preemptive thing for these people are indicating that they're going to go after my son vindictively, not because he committed the crime and they want to prosecute it, but because they weaponized the DOJ like they're doing now. So fuck it. Any and all corruption perceived by that, I say doesn't matter in comparison to.
But I want to be clear about what I think Biden did and what he didn't do. I don't think that Biden interfered in the DOJ. I want to be categorically clear. At no point has it been my position that President Biden wrongfully interfered in the Department of Justice. I don't hold that belief. I've never held that belief. What I criticize Joe Biden, is for not outsourcing the decision on the pardon to someone else for his son. I still maintain that, but I also understand that Hunter Biden is a generational poster and that the story is one of redemption. And I hope that he goes through with it. And that's the Plattner story too, I guess, to a lesser extent. I almost have more sympathy for Hunter than I do for Plattner.
He doesn't even deny that it was corrupt. In fact, like he said, my dad chose me over his legacy. And again, when he said that, I was like, you know what? Fucking, that's wholesome. That's wholesome right there. And it's like, and I think a lot of people, I think his posting goes beyond just the entertainment value, because he is very entertaining as a poster, but he is setting a really good example for recovery. I mean, that is a really difficult, the level of scrutiny that he was subjected to by the right-wing media apparatus for 5 straight years would be enough to probably drive me to unalive myself. But that guy managed to stay sober throughout that whole thing. So I think he's being a good kind of
allegedly. Well, did we ever follow up on the cocaine that they found in the White House parking lot?
Hey, he said that wasn't his.
He did. He wasn't even there.
Well, I think he said something snippy too. He's like, I wouldn't be so stupid just leave my own coke in the White House, something like that.
Yeah, he said it's. I didn't leave it. I would never have left it. So
that's a Don Jr.
If I was that addicted to coke, you think I'd forget my coke?
Right. No, we
all acknowledge Don is he's like a cocaine addict, right?
Didn't we watch him do coke on a video before, or he reaches his pocket and goes like this and wipes it into his nose?
The Trump family seems to think if you just do things in front of a camera, it doesn't matter and it doesn't count against you. I guess it's true by virtue of them winning elections and stuff, but
No, Hunter is a wonderful success story, and activism comes in many forms, and I think he's doing that right now. And I think, Hutch, to your point, that his biggest impact will be on recovery and
he's educating people.
Yes, he is, incredibly. Just being who he is, saying, I've survived, and you can do it too.
He's going to run on ending.
And you can be the next senator from Delaware as well, if you're, why not? Hey, why not?
He said he would run. He said he would run if he was Newsom's VP pick. Honestly, bro, stranger things have happened.
Do you think he has ambitions?
No, I don't think so.
He's gonna be the next LBJ. He's gonna be whipping it out in the fucking Oval Office, slamming it on the table.
I don't think he has ambitions to run in this environment, but 5 years from now, things could be a lot different, and maybe he sees an opportunity. Who knows?
He should have a pod save interview, and he should really address those guys.
Bro, that would be content right
They
there.
would go harder. They would go harder on Hunter than they did on Hassan. They would just be like, remember when you said this? They would like cross-examine him. I don't know why the Biden bros and the Obama bros, there's this like big rift. I get that there are aspects of both of those different sides that I find totally annoying. For Biden stuff, it's frankly a lot of the insiders who are still delusional that he could still win. I still to this day don't, and maybe that's Hunter Biden too. Anyone who says that Joe Biden would have won,
shots at Wick.
I think it's a shot at Wick. It is a shot at Wick. Although I will be on this panel tomorrow, which you should check it out. Speaking of free speech,
I'm going to be on this panel on Wednesday because apparently my donation, I said that you mentioned it before, but I said that you should throw the Democratic candidate or Democratic Party and Biden under the bus if it helps, and he says no. But I don't understand how you could argue against that position, but we'll see how that goes.
Well, what a great episode we've been learning.
Yeah, it sounds like we're already plugging.
No
this
one
stuff for the
said
rest of the
anything
week.
at the start of this episode that was in the slightest bit offensive, and I just want to say,
close it out with a fight.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Something.
Pisco,
Wait.
Are you aware of the Streisand effect? Don't refer to the thing you don't want no one
That's
to look
right.
at. Yeah, too late. But
wait. Did you send one of our messages? Maybe you sent some fighting thing.
I don't think so.
Some Hassan shit.
we want to end off with the fight.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
We got to get some conflict in there. It's what the people want.
UK social media ban. Well, I think I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow.
The media ban for kids.
Yeah, they're banning social media for.
Taylor Lorenz vindicated. I said it. Taylor Lorenz vindicated. I said it.
Wait, do you not like the ban?
I don't like the ban. Well, it depends what the ban means, but I think I don't like the ban. Yeah,
I'm fully in support of it, bro. Fully in support of it.
Why?
Because you're
I can't
a status chill.
I can't even imagine being a teenager and having Instagram and all these things right now. Life is hard enough when you're that young and to compare yourself to the whole world. Normally, when you grow up, you compare yourself to people around you, right? But now you got to compare yourself to the whole fucking world, and everybody's lying on there with their Lambos and shit. And you're like, I'm 21 and I don't make $300,000 a year. I'm a failure.
Well, here's the issue with it. Even if you agree that kids shouldn't have it, the way to enforce this is everyone is now giving their identification to like. Is it the government or service providers? I actually don't know how you verify this so that you can actually use it. But past that, I don't think that's good. Now you also have the idea of like, okay, but like, what are we letting the government do when they say like it's not good for kids? Like, oh, kids can't do this, kids can't do that. I feel like parents should be able to like teach you the light lessons. Yeah, exactly.
That's how it starts.
That's the canary in the coal mine. Like, oh, now we got to regulate it because kids aren't good enough. And then it's like, all right, now we're regulating Facebook from showing you stuff that we don't think that you should see. I think. If you are insulating children from these sorts of things, which are bad, like that's good insofar as you've just eliminated the problem wholesale until they get it. And they're going to get it. They're going to find ways around it. They're going to VPN. They're going to fake, identification stuff. And some of their friends are going to have it, or their older friends are going to have it. They're not.
You want little tiny kids to watch porn, Soypill?
Hey,
how
I started at 12, okay, and I'm not that fucked up. I'm just a little fucked up.
Wow,
okay?
that's problematic.
I think it's more important to teach kids how to deal with these things and not just say, no, you don't see it at all. It's like saying, it's like abstinence only education. It's like, just don't have sex. And it's like, no, if you do, this is how you stay safe. Hey, this is how you identify misinformation. This is how people could take advantage of you. This is how images are tailored in such a way that it's going to make you uncomfortable because they're showing you the best parts of their lives and you're comparing yourself. That's ridiculous. But
my understanding of banning phones in schools has just been an unequivocal massive W for schools. Was my understanding. I read an article about it.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Like if a school district wants to decide to implement that rule, I don't view that fundamentally as a speech issue. Or if it is, it's one where there's a great degree more of tailoring, right? Like you're protecting the location. It's bound by geography and place, and it doesn't intrude on the rights of adults, which I care most about, right? Like that's where I'm concerned, is having a precedent for the government to assert a degree of control over social media more so than they are now, right? And think about in the American context how problematic that would be if there was some kind of federal prerogative over social media companies, all of course under the auspices of protecting children from like horrible things, which everyone can agree with. But the means by which they're going to do it, I think, are problematic, and it sets an unworkable precedent.
But you're also protecting them from themselves, though. Like I feel like I was born at just the perfect age where like I just missed having social media in high school and in college. Because if I had social media in high school, I would have posted the most cringe, unbelievably cringe shit that I might not have a career.
As opposed to now, where you never say anything cringe.
You're never cringe, Hutch. Don't listen to Swipe Hill. This guy's a hater.
It would have been bad. It would have been bad.
He's a snarker.
I'm a snarker, Hutch. I'm a Hutch snarker. I'm in the servers, all of the servers.
IRS trying to talk.
No, I'd say Plattner would be condemning you, Hutch. It'd be so outrageous what you posted.
Probably it would have been bad. It would have been really bad.
No, I do agree, Hutch. If someone, let's show that. But some of the stuff I said in high school, I'm very glad is not on the internet. But yeah, Josiah just stopping in to say the guy's court packing is ascending. The fire is rising. Warnock's talking.
Fire is rising.
Yeah, the fire. We must back the North, brother.
Yeah, Hutch would be posting like I would vote for a Democrat even if he wasn't a segregationist. I'm joking, Hutch. I'm joking.
That would have been super edgy. Yeah.
No, but Josiah is absolutely correct. I feel it. He and I are feeling very optimistic about these court packing arguments. We're going to have more of them. And I think we've just been doing an amazing job on them. And I just hear it in just the framing and anchoring of the conversations. People are saying, well, it's a counter pack. Well, what Merrick Garland, what happened to him? And the framing before where it was removed of its context and it just was this unitary thing, pack or not pack. Now, when you put it in the history, just like gerrymandering, no one goes to the California gerrymandering and says, take it in isolation. They're like, no, you have to think about Texas. And that hits for everybody. But with the packing thing, I think one thing that Josiah and I are doing, I'm not saying that Warnock has seen it or whatever, although maybe he is the framing of it, giving an understandable position on the history and on the counter punch, which is intuitive for people. Self-defense is intuitive for people. And I just think we should continue doing it.
Real quick. Go ahead.
Who's against court packing? Like, is there this contingent out there of people that are like, no way, we're not doing that? I feel like I've never heard anybody make the argument.
Yeah, they're like, it's a downward spiral, guys. We can't cross the line.
This already changed when they withheld Obama's pick in 2016, man. And wait till if we take the Senate, we're going to sit on Trump's picks for 2 years. I hope we don't do jack shit. No, can't have a hearing.
I'll meet them in the middle and say court packing absent other reforms is, I think, not ideal. I
think there's a spectrum of different, like a menu of options that we would prefer. Like, I think Josiah and I would prefer a neutral constitutional amendment that addresses the issue in a more permanent way, or some kind of like understanding from the Republicans to, next time it's available to do us a solid in recognition for what they did. But that just is not going to happen. And so we should do the thing that is likely to happen. And I view what Mitch McConnell did with the not giving hearings as fundamentally worse than legislative court packing for many different reasons that we talk about. And I almost think, I do think this. I think it amounted to waiver. I think that they were abdicating their responsibility as the Senate, and Obama should have just installed Merrick Garland to test that legal theory before the Supreme Court as to whether or not what Mitch McConnell did constituted waiver.
Damn. Well, that's interesting.
A little out of my depth there. But before we go, what do you guys think of Mamdani's recent endorsements? Because I have concerns. Have you seen some of his recent endorsements?
I saw he endorsed some of these Justice Dems. I'd met a bunch of these people at the Shortcut place. So it's like Daria I can never say her name right. Daria Zalia, as you're talking about?
Daria Liza of
Daria Liza, thank you.
Chevalier. She's got a very colorful social media history that is very
the worst one? What month did it occur?
What did she do on October 7th?
No, it was like the peak woke kind of 2020 era, but
yeah.
That's a mulligan. You can't consider that because you would have had those messages too, Hutch.
Let's
go to 2020.
Yeah, let's see. Did Hutch have a black square? Guys, did Hutch have a black square?
Was he kneeling? Were you kneeling, Hutch?
I didn't. I did, bro. I went to
performative liberal.
Hold on. I went to a fucking protest in West Hollywood after the George Floyd thing, and I'm there and I'm all fired up. I got my fucking mask on and everything, and they're like, "Okay, everyone, we're all gonna lay down." We're going to lay down face first on the concrete for 7.5 minutes in solidarity with George Floyd. And it was fucking hot, bro. It was hot.
Yeah.
Like the pavement was like
God.
like 120 degrees, and I'm looking around at everybody and like, we're fucking actually doing this. I got down and I did
You
that.
put your body on the line, bro. You put your body on the line.
Wait, Hutch, did you walk up to a darker skinned individual and say, "How can I be better?"
I'm sorry.
I didn't do that, but I did DM someone and
Darker
asked-
skinned
I did.
individual. Quote.
did.
This is from Soypill. Darker skinned individual.
I
What did you
heard
mean by
that's the
that?
politically correct way to say it now, right?
Who told you that shit?
You know what's actually funny? Right after October 7th, like my coworker who knew I was Jewish, like just texted me and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "After that," I'm like, "I don't live in Israel. I live here, actually."
They mistook your hat, your propeller hat for
Yarmulke.
Well, no, though. I am Jewish. They knew. They just thought like
Yeah.
I would be more personally affected. And I'm like, I mean, it's awful.
called a
I'm
joke.
I'm not
Soypill's
there.
called a
Hold on.
I should get the yarmulke version though.
Hutch said he DM'd somebody for racial advice. What
did.
where were you going with that?
What'd you say?
That's the cringest thing I did in 2020. Okay, we all did cringe in 2020, but I did DM someone who I had never even met, by the way. Like we had only had like online interactions, and I was just like, "Hey, do you have any tips for how I can be better about?"
Better
It's just like a black person you've never met.
Literally, yeah, yeah.
Wait, you don't have black
Yeah.
friends, Hutch?
No, I
You don't have black friends?
I black family, motherfucker. But like, I just for some reason it felt less cringe to do that. I don't know why I didn't message other people in my life. Maybe it was because I intuitively
It was Prime Guy.
understood.
Okay, well, wait.
What was their advice? What did they tell you to do, Hutch?
I don't remember, honestly. Like they were just like, I don't know. I don't. It wasn't anything notable, but yeah, that was.
He
the way
DM'd
to say it.
Obama's
wait.
account, his official account.
Let's loop it back because I derailed. Daria Lisa. She what was she posting that's making you concerned that Mondani endorsed?
I mean, just imagine just the most extreme DSA fuck America kind of stuff, and it's just like dozens of those kinds of posts. He also endorsed Claire Valdez in New York, and she had some really bad answers on Ukraine that's showing up on my feed. So the issue with his endorsement for the first person, who was the first person again? Daria Liza, is that he had given like a handshake assurance to a different candidate that he was going to back them and then like completely sideswipe them by going this other direction with it. So that's another kind of issue with it.
Politics is a dirty game.
No.
What did you guys? Speaking of Ukraine, did you see Ilhan Omar did voted against the aid pack or the sanctions or what was it?
Fuck that shit. Why'd you do that?
I think her statement was like, I can't support anything that is like collectively punishing like the Russian citizens.
Dude,
like
that is such garbage bullshit because she supports sanctions on Israel, right?
Yeah.
Did she?
That's so. I bet she does. I bet she would vote for them.
She
No,
was
come on,
the lone Democrat no on the Ukraine aid. Yeah.
dude. So fucking cringe. I hate that shit. We do not need to embrace this kind of like totally insular nativist attitude on the left. America should be fucking strong and base and like stand by allies and fuck Russia. I just don't understand why we have to do this performative bullshit and act as though, oh, we would never do sanctions unless it's Israel. Okay, and you know what? I support cutting aid to Israel, and if they keep misbehaving, maybe even sanctions, maybe even closing off shit. But for you to be like, oh, I don't want to collectively punish Russians, you know what game you're playing there. You know what game you're playing.
I'd be curious to hear her reasoning behind it.
I'll read the exact quote. She says, opposing Russian aggression does not require us to support policies that punish ordinary civilians who did not ask for this war. I remain committed to supporting diplomacy, peace, and justice for the Ukrainian people affected by this horrific conflict, but I could not, in good conscience, support legislation that wages economic warfare on innocent civilians. So she's like,
and it's all fungible, and she understands it's fungible because she understands the defensive versus non-defensive weaponry argument. It's all fucking fungible, all right? The Russian people, yes, anything that's offset is just going to be used by the Russian state in the way that they're going to use it. And so she understands that. And so I think she's either not understanding the entailments of her own previous views or she's being intentionally obtuse. That's such a bullshit thing to say.
Right. I mean, like she's a huge proponent for BDS and like, any of this other stuff. It's just incoherent with those two things. So.
Apparently Chevalier in 2020 said that we should abolish the border. And
the border.
All deportations are wrong.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. Wait.
This is Daria Lisa. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, who else said that?
Cringe.
What do you?
No, I
Oh,
was
is that
joking.
okay.
I was like,
Well,
that might be best. No.
Just also with Mitch McConnell, he was hospitalized this weekend, so I don't think the Turtle's doing so hot. And I looked into what happens if there's a vacancy in Kentucky and the governor doesn't appoint. They have to have a special election. So if that guy goes down, then
Did
Trump's
they
gonna
change that rule,
a little harder.
IRI, because they had
Recently,
Bashir? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, sorry. I'm just picturing Ryan Mullally's fucking face and everyone else I've talked to about like norms for the past like 3 fucking weeks. Yes, guys, they changed the rule on interim appointments in Kentucky. I believe this is true. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, because they had a Democrat in office to pretend that these Republicans, they'll never do these kinds of maneuvers for political reasons, or that they wouldn't fuck with the court if it inured to their immediate political benefit. It's just so laughable. These are the same people that go to the same clubs. They're all part of the same shit. It's so stupid. Fuck these Republicans.
It's funny that they didn't just pass a rule the governor has to appoint somebody from the same party. I guess they were even maybe concerned that he would appoint some guy like the fake Dan Sullivan in Alaska that's running up there kind of thing.
Oh, now I have to go off on that.
Wait, I see a chatter, and I need you guys to clarify for this, because someone said BDS is not the same as sanctions. What's the S stand for?
God. Wait.
Isn't that what the S is for? Are they different sanctions?
She's a loyal viewer. Right? So, Fran, I disagree with you. I disagree with this. But the same principle applies, right? Like BDS, even if it's not government action, is attempting to like worsen economic situations and worsen, overall economic activity between two different countries. And so that might have as a byproduct getting innocent people having worse situations. And so the same kind of principle applies. And I do think it's a form of hypocrisy or an unspoken preference for the Russian people as opposed to the Israeli people. Which in terms of complicity, I don't know, maybe you can make that argument, but I don't think it makes any sense. I do have to go. I want to give you guys an opportunity to talk though, but I want to go off on what IRI said about the other Dan Sullivan, because it just triggered me. I know I talked about
that last week. We talked about it, but is there more to the story now that you want to get into?
No, it just, okay. So what happened was there's like an agency or some sort of administrative decision in Alaska that says he's not like a bona fide candidate. He's not a good faith candidate, right? And so what is that? That's a state making a rule, a rule of substantive decision on whether or not a candidate for federal office is allowed to be on the ballot. And so what's up with the patchwork, guys? It's a patchwork. Now states are going to be able to just, throw random people off the candidate because in their subjective opinion, they're not bona fide candidates, or they're not serious enough because they have the same name as another guy. So it just goes to show that the insurrection, Anderson decision, the disqualification thing, that was all bullshit. And yes, that includes the liberal justices who bought that bullshit about patchwork. That was stupid. It doesn't make sense. States, as a matter of course, will have rules, substantive rules on ballot access. Why wouldn't they be able to apply the Constitution as part of those rules? Makes no sense.
Guys, can you, maybe one of you guys can interpret this. Josiah, super chat, friend of the show, Josiah says, it's true they did it during McConnell's first health scare a few years ago to stop Bashir. Oh, I read McDonald's. I was thinking of BDS. I got really confused. I know what he means now.
You thought it was McDonald's because it said BDS? I don't understand.
No, because we were just talking about BDS when he sent this. And I was like, what? Something happened with the health scare for McDonald's, and that's why they boycotted it? What? Was the meat coming from Israel? I'm sorry. I had a little stroke. I'm sick. I have a fever, guys. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, I guess they were scared that Bashir would appoint a friendly Republican. I have no clue. It's very strange. They did it in 2024.
I don't know, Hajj, if you saw this because of the other. I don't know if Mondani endorsed this person, but she was there with Daria Eliza and all the other people at the Shoika place. Malat Krishnos was having like a rally, I think, with Hassan, and it got canceled by the opponent or something like this.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Oh, okay.
Was that in Colorado?
Yeah, Colorado. Yes. Yeah.
I saw Hassan crying about it, but saying liberals aren't standing up for him or something. I don't know. I love his new arc here with the suits and crying that liberals should defend him. I don't know what he's going on about, man.
I will say that I think that Soypil and I have taken the liberal position in defending Hassan on some of these matters. I don't think it should be seen as a leftist position. I think that we've come at from a liberal perspective. But I think that there's a way in which you can appeal to liberals, but kind of like talking down to them and being like, you're all hypocritical, when really, I bet if you were to ask the average liberal, they'd probably oppose what the Trump like that subpoena or whatever. If you were to present them the fact pattern, And to just like cast with that broad of a brush, it's, you know, not winning you a ton of friends there, Hassan, buddy.
Yeah, I'm not unsympathetic to the, hey, fuck you, like you wouldn't do this for us. It's just like, look, I'm doing this for everyone, but also fuck you, right?
I'm cool with that distillation, bro. Fuck, you're sick, Soy Pill?
I am. So, you didn't see I named the sick pill this whole time. It's been 2 hours of being sick. Yeah, no, I've had a fever.
What do you have?
I didn't even know if you guys are real. It might be a fever dream. I don't know, sickness. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go drink some water right after this. Take a little nappy.
I think what Andy Bashir should have done, if the rule were still in place, is get someone to legally change their name to Mitch McConnell as a Democrat and just appoint him. Like, you're voting against Mitch McConnell? Come on, come on. We got to start changing our names legally and getting on ballots. Like, someone should change their name to Donald Trump, and you know, we got to do everything. We got to break all the rules. But it's a joke. Hey, Republicans, it's a joke.
No, I like that. Fuck it.
Oh, you guys unironically think that we should like change our names to Republican?
Hey, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. That's my
look. These Republicans are doing everything you can think of, and tons of things we can't even imagine. So I'm not opposed to anything, man.
So Barack Obama Shah was a trailblazer.
That guy was a lunatic, man. I don't know. I still can't believe that conservatives are crying about Spencer Pratt losing in a city where Democrats outnumber Republicans 4-1.
They had considered that if you had stopped the count on the day that all of the election ended, that he would have won, right? That's why
it's idiotic.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we can end it there. That was enough of back and forth. What's going on with you this week, Pisco?
So this week I have tomorrow on the Wick TV channel. This is Wick TV, who does not support court expansion. This is Wick TV, who sometimes does sound the way Soy Pill characterized him before, but who has some pretty fun panels from time to time. I'll actually be reviewing another one, the one with Ryan Mullally and Dev. But tomorrow it'll be on like some free speech social media issues, kind of vague as a topic, but I hope it's a good conversation. I'm looking forward to it. So keep an eye out for that. And I'm also on my channel going to be uploading some. Rob Noir totally crashed out on me, and he's blacklisted me completely for some insane shit. I mean, the guy is totally out of his mind, but we'll be exploiting that crash out on stream and then ultimately on some edited videos.
How is Rob doing with all of Trump's failures?
He is oddly quiet about some of these corruption issues, and then coping for the rest of them, and then saying like base that, you know, yeah, it's cool to go after James Comey for 86-47. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, so he is not handling it well. I think he doesn't like to be in power, right? Because all he wants to do is do this kind of hypocrisy testing thing. And he's like a fucking baby, a toddler, even in meta conversation. Like, why should I treat you like this or that? Oh, wait, there's one point I want to make on Rob. So Rob is like taking issue. I invited a guest to like review our streams, the debates that we had. And he's like, I'm blacklisting Pisco because Pisco is putting conditions on a previously arranged guest before he's going to bring them on to that guest. And that's like unfair for him to do. That's like those conditions. I want to remind the good people of the internet that Rob Noor, for like 5 months, put a condition every time he talked to me that we needed to start with 40 minutes on Jamal Bowman and the fire alarm scandal. That was his fucking condition, that every time that we talked, there needed to be a Jamal Bowman component to the conversation. So fuck this crybaby bitch. Yeah, he is. And he's blacklisted me what? Because my the person I brought on didn't want to talk to him? He knows why he's running. It's because he knows he can't handle the heat. He knows that he's a loser debater. He's a bad debater. He doesn't want to be called out.
Okay. All right. Called out here. By the way, Jamal Bowman was at that Shoycott thing. That guy has so much fucking energy. He's so cool.
Got some rage.
He's just saying, you know what? Republicans are fucking Nazis. Yeah, I pulled the fire alarm. I don't know if he said it. Don't quote me.
Do it again.
He didn't admit it.
No reason.
He didn't
for
say
no
that.
reason.
He didn't say that. I disavow. He didn't say that. Guy, what's going on with you this week?
He should, though. He's lying about the fire alarm. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything exciting going on. I am still making videos for my YouTube, which is a lot of fun. So if you guys want to come check out my latest videos, there's quite a bit of commentary since I'm able to provoke conversation here with some of my based opinions, like the UFC fight was kind of cool. I'm kind of putting that into my YouTube videos, and there's quite a bit of conversation happening in the comments, so that's great. But
you do have hot takes, guy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I think it's a misnomer to think that you're like just DNC. I think that's not true. I think that you will have hot takes from time to time, and they're like ones where it really rubs Democrats the wrong way when a lot of your viewers, and I appreciate that you're not scared to do that.
No, yeah, I fight with my chat all the time. Today I've been fighting with them for sure, but it's all good. Thank you though, I appreciate that.
When are you gonna get a dirt bike in the Kamala 2028 admin and do a flip over her while she's getting inaugurated?
Yep, monster truck rally 2029. Let's go at the White House.
Hell yeah! What's going on with you, Hutch?
Just an earlier stream schedule. Been starting at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. The goal is still to get that down to like 6 eventually, but we'll slowly do that little bit.
6 a.m.
But then you have the WIC panel on. You said Thursday.
That is on Wednesday. I think it's Destiny's going to be on the panel as well, fighting against mine.
On your side?
I don't think so. I think he said.
Wait, what are you guys fighting about?
I said that candidates should toss Biden and the party under the bus if it helps them win in competitive races. And apparently, actually, I don't know what position he's taking on that one. But
okay,
the wild card. Okay, and then I don't think I have any special things this week. I'm just working on a new vid about being vegan. I'm gonna make all you guys go vegan. I'm gonna be a preachy little annoying shit. So we'll see what happens there.
You're special in our hearts. And
I hope you feel better. Chicken nuggets.
I hope you feel better. I like your action figures next to your silver play button. I never really noticed them before.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've got
Is that some
memorabilia
kind of
from Trump rallies. That's a Trump duck. There's a Trump duck.
Duck?
There's a Trump unicorn. Yeah, I got all the stuff from all the Trump rallies, all the delicious little they got a lot of fun merch at those places, despite how crazy they are. So
were you gonna go hang out with Hutch at VidCon and shoot guns? Is that still happening? You guys should do that.
We're doing it. You're gonna see the photos.
Wait,
and you're gonna be
jealous. You should live stream it. You should
He says he's going to drive up here, but he's going to be in Anaheim. Like that's like 2 hours away.
Well,
I'll make it happen.
For the memes, it's worth.
I'm closer than I've ever been. All right. I can't just not see you.
I'm not too far. So hit me up too. I just didn't want to go all the way to I thought it was like in downtown LA or something, but yeah. But anyways, hit me up. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll invite you to the Canada House party. That'll be fun. You guys should come to that.
Wait, you should shoot guns with us. We should all three shoot guns.
Sure. I'm down.
Fuck me.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm on the East Coast. I'm on the East Coast.
I've
already shot
trees
guns
where I
before,
live.
right?
Oh, we have
the trees are nice. And you know what? We don't have droughts as much or fires as much. So fuck you guys.
All right, go to bed. It's 9 p.m. Go to bed. All right, go to bed. All right, bye.